Hey, what is up, everyone? Welcome to Market Psychology 101, where we look for values in the markets when there's fear and are cautious when there's greed. Today, we are going to be taking a look at the Bitcoin mining stocks, seeing where the price action is at, and if we are at some good value times to buy. If you are new to my channel here at Market Psychology, I try to use my knowledge, experience, and wisdom from the field of psychology that I've used to help myself make some pretty good gains investing to help you guys take somewhat of a contrarian look at the markets and to check our bias when it comes to investing. So, join me as we take a look at some of these top Bitcoin mining stocks, starting out with the Fear and Greed Index. I'm going to show both Fear and Greed indexes for stocks and crypto because the Bitcoin miners, they are stocks. However, obviously, they're going to follow the price action of crypto and Bitcoin quite a bit as well. So we do have to consider both. If I had to choose which one is more influential on the mining stocks themselves, I would say that it would be the price action of Bitcoin and what crypto markets are doing. However, then you could go around and say, well, crypto somewhat follows the regular markets as well. And if there's a crash there, there's a crash here. Yes, true. I am looking more so at what the crypto markets, what Bitcoin's doing overall. And I see that have a higher correlation with the miners. So, stocks, we are in extreme greed. We're in all-time high region. Why wouldn't we be? That's on CNN. On Pi vesting, you can see we were up into extreme greed, got down into greed, but we're still very elevated. And the prices of stocks and indices are still going up. If we take a look at the Bitcoin rainbow chart, this is important because we have these cycles where we top about every 4 years. Here we got an earlier top around 3.5 years, and if you took the time between these two, that was only 2 or 3 years. So it's not out of the realm of imagination to wonder if maybe we would have an early top, possibly just something to consider. Down in these green and blue zones tend to be better times to buy. After it gets through the yellow zone, kind of no man's land, you may think about selling as we get up here. So, and as far as crypto fear and greed, as you can see, we've just been trending up. Now, this was sort of a leading indicator because Bitcoin bottomed, not here, but later in November. That's when Bitcoin price bottomed. So, when we tanked on fear, that was front running what was about to happen. So if we are still front running right now, then maybe Bitcoin is going to smash their all-time highs and we're going to see some of these miners shoot up. We'll see. So on these miners, let's start off with Marathon Digital Holdings. And guys, I hope this goes without saying that do your own research on these miners. Here's my rule of stocks. It has to be something I like and then something I use for stocks. And if it isn't something I use, I really have to like it a lot and I'm going to do extra amounts of research on it. So dive into these companies' balance sheets. Do they have extra cash on hand? Do they have high expenditures? Look at all those factors before you just purely look at technical analysis. Technical analysis is just one tool amongst many other factors that you can look at to see if you're getting great value. Because right here, you can see in the last year, we're at a yearly high. We were recently overbought, and our RSI, the relative strength index, you can see it's trending down, even though we've made higher highs in the price action. This is known as bearish divergence. So I like to remind people on this channel that time in the market is more important than timing the market. And it's exactly for reasons like this, because if you follow the hype and you buy into these pumps, then you miss out on opportunities when we are accumulating. Like this would have been a really good range. Let's throw on one of our indicators that gives buy-sell signals. I like to look at the weekly at the very least, if not the monthly. And weekly, last time we had a weekly buy signal, we were at this 0.5 region right here at around 20. And right here, you can see us hanging out at this higher fib level of 236 at around 26. So Bitcoin recently, because this is very important, Bitcoin has been shooting up. We were at 1,000 got as high as 64,000. So went 13,000 up. Now it looks like we're going to chop around for a while. Maybe we'll sell off a little bit, get somewhere around this 56, 57 range here. But I would imagine that we would be going here at least for a little bit of time. So can you be patient on Marathon? I would be personally. If you like Marathon, Riot, and some of these other miners, I would rather wait for one of these sell signals to play out and then buy the reverse on the next buy signal. That's how I like to play it. Sometimes you can get faked out. As you can see here, we have a strong move up. However, I will note that this was overall in a downward trend. And I also like to wait till the RSI is double tapping the oversold area of the RSI, because usually the first time it's oversold is not the true bottom. You have to wait many times, not for many of the strong stocks, but many times it's better to just wait for that reversal and to see that we're making higher lows. So here I'm sure people would have gotten faked out. Still not the worst time to buy, because we did about 2 or 3x from there. And if we do go out to the monthly, what does that show us? Most recent monthly buy signal. You can be a very patient investor just throwing on the monthly here and buy when we get these signals. And when we reverse trend, that's one of the simplest ways you can do it. And you could have got Marathon down here for 9, or anywhere in this range from 11 to 20, which for right now would have been a good deal. So Marathon, it's creating a new high within the last year. And it is, I feel that at least on the weekly, this is looking very bullish. I think before we were looking at the daily. So smaller time frame bearish divergence. Here on the larger time frame, it's still bullish right here. We have to see how this RSI plays out. Maybe this is going to finish higher, who knows. But just looking at the chart, one thing I really like about Mara is that it got up here to the yearly high, went down, and when it retested, it didn't sink back down. It actually got past that. So a lot of times when that happens, we can see ourselves go up quite a bit more. So if you take a look right here, when we did retest those prior highs, we were at 19 and we went up 60% after we got through. So if we were to measure that out, let's say we do get 60% up above that prior high or somewhere around there, then maybe you could look for Mara to be around $50 right there. So that's what we have for Mara. And let me just take a look at the market cap for you guys quick, because that is important. Sometimes people make crazy price predictions on YouTube, and you have to be careful about that. And if you're really new to investing, please educate yourself on market cap. So Mara has a $7 billion market cap. So let's say you threw $1,000 at it right now and you wanted a 10x, you wanted it to be worth 10,000. Then you believe Mara could be a $70 billion mining stock. Is that possible? I don't know. Do your own research, but just something to consider. Next, let's take a look at Riot Platforms. So we had a high up here in July, and I was looking at some cryptos the other day, ones like Bitcoin Cash and others that topped out back here in June, July, and haven't broken through their top since. Now, recently, it has gone bullish. As you can see, just what I was talking about before, where as we get close to testing those highs, we can fall down if we don't break through. So here it fell down around 50%. And really, I mean, that's what a lot of these assets will do. After they run up a certain amount, they'll do about a 50% retracement. I do like that it stopped here on the 618 and it's been staying above it, and it's wedging up right in here. So is this looking to possibly go up? Possibly, maybe. I do like how we have this doji candle right here. Those dojis can go violently either way. Let's just take a look at the daily. The last buy signal was back here around 12. So, you know what? Maybe you're thinking, well, it's only at what? 14, 15. Okay, so maybe you're not reaching too hard here, but we did get a buy signal around 12. And Riot's market cap, Riot Platforms market cap is at 3.62 billion. So remember what I said. If you put in 1,000 and you wanted 10,000, you would believe that Riot could be a $36 billion mining stock. Could it? I don't know. When the Bitcoin halving comes, I've seen news articles come out both ways. And here's a little bit of a market psychology lesson for you. When Bitcoin sold sold after the ETF approval, briefly, I saw all these news articles about how mining stocks were going to tank after the halving because each halving, there's only half the amount of Bitcoin mined. That's what the halving is for. Half the amount of Bitcoin gets mined. It's a place it creates a supply crunch. And they said, well, half the amount's being mined, so they're going to make half the amount of money. I swear to God, there was articles about that right after the ETF was approved, and crypto dipped for a little bit to around 39K. Then, as crypto started to get bullish and got above the ETF approval price, all of a sudden, coincidentally, I'm seeing these news articles, and it's probably by all the regular ones that try to tell you the opposite of what to do. They were saying, well, miners are great because half the amount of Bitcoin will be mined after the halving. That's going to create a supply crunch, hence drive up demand. So get in miner stocks now. So there's both sides of the aisle. I am cautious on those narratives, and especially with how the halving is being propped up as such this amazing, wonderful thing. So I'm just wondering if around the halving, and you can see this happen the last couple of times, if around the halving we get a little bit of a pullback. The last two times before the big cycle, before the 4-year cycle completed, or that cycle of Bitcoin and crypto completed, that was the last major, excuse me, fighting a little bit of a sickness here. That was the last major capitulation event. So maybe because some of this news is so bullish, after the halving, kind of like the ETF, we're going to get a little bit of a sell-off. That'll be one of our next or even last corrections before going up, maybe. I don't know. But just something to think about. So as far as Riot, would I buy right here? It's a little bit of a stretch. But if you did, I don't think it's the worst just because the price isn't too far off. If you did want to be patient, maybe you're going to, and you're seeing that these the bodies of these candles are coming down here. Maybe you're going to wait for a little under 14. But again, I think we're pinching pennies here. And if it's a mining stock you like and believe in, I don't think this is the worst spot to dollar cost average in. And yeah, let's go on to the next one. The next one is CLSK. Oh, I have a fun thing to talk with you guys about with CLSK. So, man, look at that. Or is it CLSK or is it another one? I think it's Cipher. Yeah, it's the next one. I'll get to that. So CLSK creating a new yearly high. We've gotten up to 23 on the wick, but then the body came back down to here. So very bullish since that last buy signal here. Let's just measure from the body. We had 121% move. Sure, maybe you measure the wick, but 121% move. So we went around $8 to 18. That's pretty darn good. As you can see, after we broke through the prior highs, it went up. And I'm always curious, after it breaks through prior highs, what is the percent it went up? Remember for Mara how it had that 60% up? Here it had 74. So just something to consider. And something you could wait for because it did already have a bull run is if you were willing to be patient, and I always try to promote that and advocate for that, because when you chase these pumps and when you chase the hype, you can get caught up in some giant you could get caught up in some giant corrections and giant dumps. So I like to start out with the monthly buy signals on stocks crypto I like, see if I'm near there. Then I like to start out on the weekly. And guys, this is just the technical analysis portion. Again, not TA should not be your whole investment strategy. Do your own research, assume your own risks, and Bitcoin and a lot of YouTubers on Bitcoin, they get too caught up in this cyclical pattern and that things have to return to all-time highs. And sure, that's happened. However, NFA, like I said at the beginning, market data is not enough to predict future results. Things are always changing. I'm going to get to more of that later. So if this is to have a little bit of a pullback, let's take a preview here. After that wick, how much did it go down before it settled? So around 43%, 42, 43%. If that was the local top, where would that be? Funny enough, around that 0.5, the 1337. So if you're willing to be patient and Bitcoin's just going to consolidate, chop around for a few weeks, and maybe even dip down a little bit to 56, 57, then I wouldn't think it'd be out of the realm of possibility to pick up a better deal on CleanSpark here at around this 13.5 region. So again, no guarantees. Bitcoin, it went up 13,000 this week. So no one knows if all of a sudden it's going to jump up another 13,000. And if so, everything I just said is nonsense, and this thing is just going to go higher again. So it's a risky take, buying into the hype and the pumps. We don't know if it's going to do that. I like to be patient. There's many stocks and cryptos in the sea out there. So when it's one I like, I rather wait for those buy signals, at the very least on the weekly, when it's starting in an uptrend, creating higher lows. So next one, let's take a look at Cipher. Cipher. And as you can see here, we had a recent top here in late December. And you could say that within the last 6 months, it's been chopping around and accumulating a bit. So maybe this one is winding up. I do like how it has stayed above the 786. Right now, doesn't it look like maybe it's going to come down to that? Though right here, it's at this 618 level of the fib. So if you believe in Cipher long term, not the worst. By the way, I totally forgot to talk about the market cap for the last one for CleanSpark. Let me take a look at that before we move on to Cipher. So CleanSpark's market cap is 3.4 billion. All right, for the last one. Sorry, I forgot about that. Cipher, CIFR. Cipher's market cap is 775 million. Sometimes it says it on here on TradingView. No, 769. Google says different. Sometimes it doesn't. So full transparency. Let me go to this comment I got from a guy, and I try to be fully transparent. So, sir, Cipher is crashing. I bought shares because of your analysis. If you could see me, I'm doing the face palm thing right here. None of this is financial advice. I feel like I make that pretty clear. And just at the time I wrote this, I said Cipher was at 313 time of this video. It's currently at 329. Nothing in my videos encourages short-term trading, but rather long-term value investing opportunities. Do your own research, assume your own risks. Guys, market psychology. It is really hard to keep your emotions in check if you're looking to do short-term trades on any of this stuff. The best advantage you have psychologically is getting your emotions in check and trying to remove your bias. In a way, you almost have to look at these charts like a robot and try to move your biases. When you look at anything you may buy into, I want you to take a look at the good news about it. I want you to take a look at the bad news about it and make your own educated decision. I talk a lot about the longer time frames because we never know when we're going to get chopped up in here. You might buy up here, and look, some of these wicks went down here. You're going to see short-term losses more often than not. And sometimes these monthly buy signals, look at this one, can even go lower. But again, this is when it was already topped and it was creating the downtrend. So that's different. So there's a lot of factors that go into this. And as far as Cipher, quote unquote, crashing, when I posted this, when did I say that comment was made? 313. I want to say I made this made that video a week ago. So where are we right now? Right here. We're beginning of March. I want to say it's around here. Yeah, so it's near the bottom. You call this crashing right here? Cipher's crashing. This move. I mean, we moved up and you call that crashing. So, anyways, guys, get your emotions in check. I'm not trying to be mean. I welcome any and all feedback. And in order to use psychology to your advantage on the markets, you do have to be patient. And it's hard to just be patient. Patient is the practice and the act of waiting and waiting for the conditions of the market to meet, or waiting for the market to meet the conditions of your plan. If you make a plan, and everyone should, and the price hasn't met that, then don't buy. And if you've done your research, you believe in it, and you're using my technical analysis, and we're viewing crypto and stocks overall as a benefit to you, then go ahead, buy in there. So is Cipher crashing? I don't know. Maybe it was just a random bot comment. Sorry if it wasn't, but anyways, I am going to be honest and transparent about all those comments. And if someone says something like that, I do want to have an open conversation about it. And I'm open to feedback too if you disagree. So, Cipher, I see accumulation. I know some of these miners may not have a ton of utility, or maybe some of them don't look good. Guys, in the world of crypto, there are a lot of coins, a lot of cryptos with no utility whatsoever that can be worth billions of dollars and do a 200x. So it's a total ironic, degenerate space. You never know. If you don't know and it seems foreign to you, don't invest. However, if you are taking a quote unquote educated gamble, then the very least you could do is do your own research and buy on some of these weekly buy signals or monthly buy signals in this accumulation. I don't think this is the worst time to buy Cipher. If Bitcoin is to go up to over 100,000, who knows, maybe even 200,000, yeah, I could see this doing very well and becoming a multi-billion-dollar Bitcoin mining operation. However, when Bitcoin sells off, I could see it returning back to where it was. So just something to keep in mind. I've been through a couple of these crypto runs before. I've been in this space since 2017, trying to help simplify and make sense of this space. I do think this isn't the worst deal to get some Cipher. Again, do your own research, assume your own risks. Okay, rant over. I apologize. We have 5 left. WULF, BTBT, BITF, IREN, and HUT. So WULF, TerraWulf. I'm trying to fly through these because my voice, man, it's hurting. So drawing these trend lines because, man, it looks like we're wedging up in there. That's a technical jargon term for you. And this does look daily bearish, like we'll probably get back down here to this $160 level. And market cap, $471 million market cap. So if you want a 10x, you believe this can be worth close to $5 billion. Maybe, but guys, look at how these things sell off. So do your own research, assume your own risks. After some of these bigger miners, I do think this is more educated gambling. And if you were to buy in here, not financial advice, but be ready to sell as the Bitcoin rainbow chart gets up into these orange-red regions. Because when it sells off, these things can take a hard dump and fall off even more as well. So just so you know. So yeah, it has this doji that's red on the weekly. We had a buy signal play out. To me, this looks a little bearish. And well, here we have on the weekly bearish divergence, maybe? No, never mind. It's just bearish. Lower price, lower RSI. So I don't think it'd be out of the realm of possibility that it gets closer to this trend line. If TerraWulf got around 157 and you like TerraWulf, then hey, I think that'd be a good time to buy in and wait if you believe in the next cycle. So after Wolf, we have BTBT. BTBT, Bit Digital. So man, you can see What a fake out this must have been for people. Sold off heavily here. Some people probably got excited and be like, wow, we're creating higher lows, and then dump. That's brutal on the chart right there. And on the monthly at a buy signal too. So, but down here, if you're able to catch it down here at around 65 cents, good job. Over here, after we ran up for a bit, did come down hard into this range here. Almost looks like a cup and handle maybe forming. Does it not? And if so, who knows? Maybe we're going to get even higher. So right now, Bit Digital, again, if you're looking for a more value educated gamble, quote unquote, play, I don't think the last two I've talked about, Cipher and Bit Digital, being at the worst price levels. It it does have, it's in that penny stock market cap range. So very risky. Again, I call these educated gambles. If there's money you can afford to lose and you do your research and you like Bit Digital or Cipher, I don't think it's the worst price. Now, could it come back down to these levels? Maybe. This could be a higher low in here. So if you just got into it now, I don't think this is the worst area to dollar cost average in. So yeah, that's what we got for Bit Digital. And maybe if Bitcoin does blast off to previous all-time highs and beyond, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility to see something like, look at this. This topped before Bitcoin topped around February. Bitcoin had that first top around March, April. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility to see these come back to its prior all-time highs, if not a little bit more. Should we get another big blow off like we've had before? So I think if you're buying into these lower cap penny stock miners, that is the risk you're assuming. And there is a comment on a video before about how one of these companies had lawsuit trouble. Yeah, guys, do your own research. And I know that can be a thing, so I like to steer clear of that. However, I'm just saying, in the crypto space, I've seen some very bad cryptos with no utility whatsoever do 20x's. So this is the space we're in. Be careful. It is a gamble. It is a higher risk move. I'm trying to simplify it and help you guys get more value out of it if possible. So dollar cost averaging in here, not the worst. Let's move on. We have just a couple more. BITF, BitFarms. BitFarms, prior all-time high, here around $10. It's at $3. It's recently ran up and making new yearly highs. So good job, BitFarms. You go, BitFarms. And recently I had a buy signal over here, right as it was getting close to this 20 MA on our indicator. And yeah, right now just, let's get this out of the way. Right now it just does look bullish. Here the R side did peak down, so you could say, well, there's some bearish divergence. However, price can still go up very hard, even though there is bearish divergence for a while. How long? I don't know. Would I be buying BitFarms now? Me, not personally. Even if I liked it, I would be willing to be more patient. But yeah, we have this doji candle, and maybe at the very least you could wait for it to come down to 261. So that is BitFarms for you, and its market cap 872 million. So stronger than the last one we looked at. Two more, IREN and HUT. Iris Energy Limited. So this one, we had a top in January. After this weekly buy signal, ran up, got pretty high, and then wicked down pretty hard. And again, another doji. That's interesting. A lot of these cryptos, after Bitcoin had its $13,000 pump recently and has just began to chop sideways, which is normal for Bitcoin, have started forming these dojis. I've seen these on cryptos and some of these mining stocks. So here as well, you see bearish divergence. So I do wonder if maybe Bitcoin is going to have a correction coming soon, possibly to 56K. I don't know. But I don't think it'd be out of the realm of possibility to be more patient, get it around this $5, $5.50 range. So if you're willing to be more patient, again, pinching pennies. If you believe in it, heck, I don't think you'd be doing the worst buy right now. 5x to the top here on the chart. So, and a $612 million market cap. So if you believe this can be worth $6 billion, then hey, maybe you take a shot at this mining stock. And last, we have HUT. And wow. So this one reminds me of, was it Cipher, I believe? The chart was kind of similar. So, and would you look at this double top? Does it not remind you? This is exactly like Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, it did have its true top in November, and it had that first top in February, March. I'll show you on here. So February, March 21, November 21. So look at how, as I was telling you in the beginning, how the price of crypto is very influential on these mining stocks, more than just what the general stock market is doing. So, right, you could take a look at this right here and think, well, maybe it would return to prior all-time highs, if not higher. And I think a question for you is, why hasn't this crypto mining stock gone off? Well, as someone said before, there is some court stuff going on with it, some lawsuits. So do your own research. At the very least, you can just Google the name of any of these, click the news tab, and start reading up on it. And again, read up on their balance sheet. What's their expenditures? What's their revenue? Are they net positive? Do they have a lot of extra cash on the side? All those things are good indicators of whether or not it's a stronger stock to buy. And if you're only taking an educated gamble, then having things like this, those are red flags, and you do want to be fair in adding those up. Inversely, you could think about, and I'm trying to, now me personally, I wouldn't buy this because of something like that. Inversely, you could think of something like Binance, how Binance had legal troubles recently, remedied the situation, and when they had legal troubles, they were down, the price was down, and it's been going up ever since. So if we take a look at Binance, just as an example, so when it had legal troubles, it was down here around 200, and look at this, we've doubled since its legal troubles. So the more FUD, if it's a product you like, if it's a product you use, then those can create opportunities for you long term. Should the company survive and be a good company, it does have a $777 million market cap. So hey, maybe you believe in lucky sevens, and here it's at the 786 fib, still trying to keep its head up above water. So if you believe this can get back to prior all-time highs, then here around 77, if we just divide that out, 77 divided by 8.7, that's almost a 9x. So if you believe it can get back there, then $1,000 could eventually, no guarantees, turn into $9,000. Now, will it? I don't know. Maybe the lawsuit's going to tank this thing completely, like what happened to other projects like FTX and BitConnect. So I wouldn't be buying it. I'm not recommending you buy it. However, sometimes that bad news can create great deals. And here at Market Psychology, I want you to try to have a contrarian sort of mindset and think both ways on any asset. Think of the positives, think of the negatives, weigh those out, and make your own decision. Take your own risks. So again, overall, going back to Bitcoin, guys, if we just look at Bitcoin, gosh, look at these buy signals playing out. And again, what I talk about when we blow through prior all-time highs, look at here, we're already 30% up, and we have started to chop around. So could we see a sell signal coming on one of our indicators? That wouldn't surprise me. And also with the halvings, each time we have a halving, I'm going to mention this a lot until we get through it, we go up one of these buy zones every time that blockchaincenter.net has. Shout out blockchaincenter.net, not sponsored. Third halving went up a zone. Fourth halving, are we going to be in the still cheap zone? And that's around, the halving's near April 22nd, I want to say. So that would say we're between 52 and 68K. Are we going to be in between there? We'll see. So far, we're 3 for 3. Are we going to be 4 for 4? We'll see. As far as Bitcoin and all crypto related assets, do your own research. A lot of them I would not be buying in now because they're chasing the pump. We've had 4 of these 20% pullbacks. And should we get another 20% pullback? And maybe you're asking, where would that put us? So again, just to show you right here, 21%. Here we go. 21, 22%. Should we get something similar again? Where would that put us? It'd put us kind of where this little bit of accumulation was and this lower fib. So somewhere between 49 to 52. If we did get a sell signal and a big correction on the weekly from here, that could be a possible price target. But again, we are in parabolic times. I don't know if that is going to happen, but yeah, try to be patient as much as you can. Do your own research, and I hope some of this technical analysis has been helpful for you in just giving you a way to look at the markets. And what I do try to preach is be cautious when there's pumps, and do your research, and possibly get excited when prices are lower. So maybe you can increase the value of your investments. That's what you want to do. If there is a stock like, let me go to one of the better known stocks, like Apple. Man, look at Apple here. If you liked Apple up here at 200, well, then you should love it here at around 180. And then you should be getting excited about buying. Now, like I talked about before, I like to see a reversal in the trend, and we'll see where this stops. Maybe it's going to stop down here. I don't know. But when it's a product I like, a product I use, I like to see things play out a little bit and be patient. And when it dips in price, I get excited. And that's when I want to buy more. I am not buying after a bunch of green candles. I like to buy at a bunch of red candles and when we're getting reversals, and taking in other factors as well. So anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you found this helpful, and that you all have a wonderful weekend. Take care.